Speaking of owners maybe making decisions, that's not the case in Green Bay. Jerry Jones said on a radio show, he said, me and Mike had a great fucking strategy. You know what I mean? We anticipated it. I went over it carefully with Mike McCarthy. Jerry Jones says with Mike McCarthy before the game. What they came out doing, we anticipated completely. We just didn't anticipate them having that kind of success. And they stayed in it, didn't they? Did this ever happen? Did you have to sit down with Jim Irsay and say, all right, Jim, here's our keys to victory. This is what we're doing on the offense. Do you have to have a full team meeting with the owner? I actually kind of enjoy that happening, that literally Mike McCarthy has to coach the team, has to handle the day-to-day and the schedule, and then at some point during the week, he's got to go into that office we've seen on Hard Knocks, get the old deck out, and he's going to have to explain to Jerry why and how they're thinking what they're doing. And Jerry's potentially going, I don't like that shit. We need to change that a little bit. That is awesome to hear that an owner is that invested, but it's also hysterical to think Jerry's saying, I went over it very carefully, as if he is guiding the team as well on the day-to-day, especially on game days. That's a hilarious thing. Does that happen everywhere? And is that something very new that you have heard, or is that just known down in Dallas that that's how it goes?
Yeah, I don't think it happens everywhere. Like you said, I think there's some owners like Jerry that are invested much more than other owners. They're there on a day-to-day basis. They want to know, Christ, he's the owner, he's the GM, he's, whatever he wants to be. And so, yeah, you got to be prepared. Jim was very involved. Jim knows football. He knows X's and O's. He knows players. He knows teams. He knows schemes. We would get together, on a regular basis, and talk about the week. It wasn't during the week. We'd talk about things at the end of the week on a Friday, say, and wasn't every Friday, but hey, how are we looking? How we feel? How's this guy? If somebody was injured, we anticipate this guy playing, and what's your thoughts on playing, New England and Jesus Christ, Coach, how are we gonna confuse Brady, or can he be confused? So we'd have great conversations, but Jim's a smart football man, and he wanted to talk, and he gave me such great insight and great perspective, because he looked through a totally different lens, than we look through, on a day-to-day, week-to-week, process. It was cool, and give you just different ways of, how he saw things, and you walked out of there going, damn, I didn't think of it that way, and that makes a lot of sense. So those conversations are real. I don't know if they happen. I've heard it. I've heard of places where, every Monday morning, you go sit down with the owner, and it's the whole staff, the head coach, every offensive, defensive coach, special team coach, and they watch every snap of the game, offense, defense, and special teams. And a guy's got to go up there, and he's got to give the whys, the what's and the whys to what the fuck just happened. Excuse my language.
No, you're terrible language. I mean, fucking disgusting. But that is hilarious to think. And then, because, at the end of the day, you would hope that your owner would care, because it's, obviously he's invested then, or she's invested, and that is how you would want your owner to be. But then I assume some people from the outside looking in going, well, are you watching, 70 hours of film a week, Mr. or Mrs. Owner of the football team? Does your opinion really matter? I think it's so torn depending upon success levels. But I wonder if Jerry did ask at the end of McCarthy after he went through, and he said, are the Denver Broncos a team we smash watermelons for or not? And Mike McCarthy goes, I don't think so, Coach. And I wonder if this upcoming week, when that question gets asked, Mike McCarthy's like, every week we're fucking smashing. Just that whole thought of Mike McCarthy being super Yinzer, right?
Yeah.
Talking to Jerry Jones, not only about the week-to-week strategery, but just life in general, I think would be incredible. Go ahead, AJ.
Chuck, when you mentioned that full staff meeting with the owners and everyone in there, it reminded me of players after a loss. A lot of times you come in Monday morning, everyone's kind of quiet, not sure how you're supposed to be, nervous to see the coaches, trying to duck your coaches, not sure how the head coach is going to handle the team meeting. Do coaches feel that way coming in after a loss, dealing with their owner? Are you trying to duck and be like, oh, all right, I don't know how this is going to go?
Is he pissed? Is there hope?
No, Yeah, you're probably a little bit nervous depending on how that game went. I'm sure, based on the Dallas-Denver game, yeah, there was some stuff that, whatever. But, we used to call it, Pete Carroll up in Seattle called it Tell the Truth Monday. So, they get in there and win or lose, you watch the film, you pull a certain amount of clips and you just kind of tell it, like it was. And it wasn't degrading, wasn't demeaning, there wasn't F-bombs being thrown. It's just like, hey, these are the things that help you win games, and these are the things that we can't do, to penalize ourselves, to give ourselves absolutely no shot to win this football game. So, yeah, you always get a little bit nervous, but again, if you have the answers, to the test, before the questions are there, and the whys and what you're doing and why you're doing things, and you can explain it and it makes sense, and then you should be okay. But every now and then you probably walk into a little bit of a firestorm,
Oh, the buzzsaw,
if you will, and a buzzsaw, whatever you want to call it, Pat, and you're going to be, look, they're paying these guys a hell of a lot of money, right? And it's huge business, and the bottom line is winning, like we always talk about. So that's the owner's prerogative. He can do whatever he wants to do.
I'm just, in my head, I was thinking of Tom McMahon walking into those Monday meetings the year me and Vinny went to the Pro Bowl together. He probably had to just be walking in there. Yeah, we did everything good. Did everything good. I'm going to sit back down, have a good day. I can't wait to hear what happened on the defensive side of the ball. That whole thought of you guys having to rally your emotions before presenting to us, because we follow the reactions and the emotions of the coaches, and you, the head coach, more specifically. After a bad game, it's like AJ said, you're kind of scared to make contact with any coaches because you don't know what the message is going to be. You haven't maybe seen the film yet either, so you saw it on your iPad, but you don't know necessarily what the coach saw and what you potentially did, and there's just always that incredible awkwardness. I couldn't imagine for you guys if an owner was like, yeah, every Monday we're going to go through this shit, by the way. And I'd like to hear why. I assume down in Carolina that's happening.
Oh, yeah.
I assume down in Carolina that, not that would be abnormal or whatever, but that Mr. Tepper, he has made it very clear, hey, we're going to win, and if we're not going to win, we're going to move on. That is exactly what we're going to do, and I guess I respect it. If I owned the team, I would do the same damn thing.